Hello, everybody. It is February the 15th, 2022, and it's time for another episode of AMA Air. Coming up today, we've got all the details for AMA Junior Camp 2022.
Cool. Jay Smith is joining us later. He's going to give us a preview of the March edition of Model Aviation magazine.
And we've got a World Championships coming to the International Air Modeling Center this summer. We're going to tell you all about it. All that and more coming up today on AMA Air. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of AMA Air. My name is Matt Ruddick.
And I'm Lee Ray.
Hello, Lee. What's going on down there in the great state of Texas?
Nice and warm, finally. Yay. Oh. But of course, that's nothing compared to what you're experiencing, right? Because I mean, what's like 50s, 60s here? What's it up there?
Well, it's actually hitting in like, I think the low 50s here today, but it's going to get cold again. It's this typical Indiana weather. If you have been here or from here, you understand. If you don't like the weather, you just wait an hour and it'll change.
That's a Texas statement. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm convinced that's a statement everywhere, which makes me laugh. But anyway, yeah, it's supposed to get cold again, and we may even get some more snow. Who knows? So I don't know. I'm just ready for spring. I'm ready for winter to be done and over with. But that's a whole other conversation. We got a lot of stuff to get to, and including a couple of very special guests. And we want to jump into our first guest right off the bat here on the show. If you guys aren't familiar with our education department and the programs that they put on, like Camp AMA and so forth, there's another kind of event that they put on every year, another program called AMA Junior Camp. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today with education specialist Kyle Feedy. He's going to join us here on the show. Kyle, welcome to AMA Air.
Well, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Lee. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, tell us a little bit about what AMA Junior Camp is and how it differs from Camp AMA.
Sure. So AMA Junior Camp has been around this is going to be its third year. It got its start in 2020 because in-person AMA camp or Camp AMA had to be put on hold for that year. So it was kind of conceived as a substitute for that, a completely online virtual live stream substitute for Camp AMA. But it's since grown into its own special edition of to the education department's materials that it offers to both the AMA membership and also to just the community of model aviation in general. As I said, it's a completely online, virtual, live stream event. It's hosted by the AMA Education Department, myself and 3 other people, and it's geared towards students aged 5 to 13, so a slightly younger age group than the in-person Camp AMA, which is usually more around high schoolers. So this is a program that is specially geared towards students who might be interested in aviation, interested in how airplanes work. Maybe they've made lots of paper airplanes and they want to kind of take things maybe to the next level and figure out how airplanes work. How does the science behind it really work? And get more involved with what the world of model aviation has to offer them.
Yeah, so what's awesome about this event is it really gives you kind of a tiered approach with learning, and you guys have different sessions throughout the day during the week of AMA Junior Camp. Tell us about these sessions, what folks can expect from those and how they're different.
That's right. We have it's a week-long program, so Monday through Friday, and there are 2 sessions daily, as you said. There's a morning session that's from 11 to noon Eastern Standard Time, and there's an afternoon session, from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, that morning session is hosted by either myself or the education team, and we're going to be going through kind of a hands-on project and actually build a working model that will demonstrate some kind of aerodynamic or scientific principle. You can see over there, those are some of the projects we were working on last year. They will be similar this year, but not identical. So, but you can kind of get a glimpse of what it's going to be like and what to expect from that. So students can follow along with materials they either have at home or they will also have the opportunity to purchase what we call a flight pack, which I can get into a little more detail on that later, to follow along and build exactly what they're seeing on screen. And then the afternoon session will come back a couple hours later, and those afternoon sessions are centered around a special guest speaker that we have every day. We have somebody who's going to come on to talk about how model aviation has impacted their lives, how it's affected their career choice, and how it continues to inspire them through the present day. And you can see there, we had Red Jensen last year. He brought the house down on Friday. He was a great speaker. Everyone was really excited to hear from him. He was working on some really cool stuff. He's always working on some really cool stuff.
I got to interrupt, Kyle, because I got to say I know I didn't meet the age requirement for junior camp, but I watched Red Jensen's video, and this guy is just simply amazing. You know, he's building that full scale Reno racer, and he's just such a joy. So I'm so glad you had him as a guest. I think it inspires everyone of all ages.
He really does. He was great to have him on last year, and we're especially excited to have him back this year. So he's going to get us all caught up on how the Reno air races went, and what else he might be getting involved with this year. And then you can see some of the other speakers that we had last year. And this reminds me, I'll need to talk about how this is actually going to be an on-demand piece. You can actually have full access to last year's junior camp, and you will be able to have access to this year's junior camp as well. I guess I'll get more on that later, because we have some other guest speakers who are coming up. You can see some guest speakers of the past. But this year we also have Kyle Boyer. There are a lot of Kyles involved with AMA education activities. I'm sorry to say there's
thing one, thing two, thing three.
Yeah. Kyle Boyer from Foldable Flight is going to be joining us. He is a paper airplane engineer and designer. And, you know, paper airplane engineer is kind of an odd phrase, but I mean, everyone loves paper airplanes. Everyone's made probably at least a few of them over the course of their life. But Kyle Boyer really takes it to the next level, and he uses them as an educational tool. He uses them as a modeling tool to demonstrate real aerodynamic principles, and kids can really take what they're learning from his models or from his paper airplanes and apply them to other sorts of aerodynamic areas, or even just science areas that have to do with, you know, fluid and air and all other kinds of stuff. He's a really cool guy, and we're really happy to have him on. And then we're also going to have on a gentleman named Matt Keenan, who some of you may be familiar with. And if you're not, he works with AeroVironment, a private contractor that's partnering with NASA. And we're actually coming up on a pretty important NASA anniversary just last year with their Mars Ingenuity helicopter. And I mean, I'm still getting over how cool it was that we landed a helicopter on Mars. I mean, I'm sure lots of people are. And Matt Keenan had a really had a close-up view of how that project worked from behind the scenes. So he's going to have some really cool stories to share. And of course, our guest speakers are also going to be taking questions, so students can have a real opportunity to put those questions in front of somebody who can give them answers in a way that is different from, you know, anything that you would find anywhere else.
I'm going to pay one of those kids to ask Matt, what's next? I'd love to know what they're working on, because I'm sure it's going to be spectacular.
What's next is the next flight, because the thing is still going.
It is still going, which I think is way beyond what they expected. But Matt will certainly be able to tell us all about that. Helicopter on Mars, next, I don't know, a blimp on Saturn, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you earlier, I joined the AMA last year around this time, so I enjoyed watching the junior camp videos that you had, because it kind of rekindled my spirit when I was a kid, learning all about, you know, aerodynamics and, okay, how to throw a paper airplane, and hey, what else can we do with this paper airplane? And not in school, kids, you know, keep it in your house.
There you go.
But Kyle, you know, thank you so much for putting that together, because I know this is a valuable tool for kids today. And, you know, as a parent, you don't want your kids just sitting in front of a computer all day. This is a great thing where they can see something and then they can go demonstrate it. It's really fun.
Yeah, and I do want to mention that again, that this is a program that after that week of broadcasts and live streams, this program is going to be made available on demand. So obviously you won't be able to ask questions live or participate in the conversations live at that point, but all of the demonstrations, all of the interviews are going to be made available on demand on the AMA Flight School website. So again, you do not need to be an AMA member to participate in this program. You don't need to be an AMA member to have access to those videos even after they've been made available. It certainly is encouraged. But those videos are going to be made available so that teachers and community leaders and club leaders and anyone who's interested in getting their students or getting their kids involved with model aviation, or just getting involved with STEAM education in general will have that as a resource that they can repackage or compartmentalize, or you can knock them all out in a single day if you wanted to. So that's a really cool resource. And again, like I said, this was kind of ideated as a last minute substitute for Camp AMA 3 years ago or 2 years ago. But it's really turned into its own special opportunity, and we're really looking forward to making the most of it.
Absolutely. So, Kyle, once again, where can people go? What are the dates? If somebody's interested in registering for AMA Junior Camp, what do they need to do?
Well, there's the URL right there, amaflightschool.org/AMA-junior-camp. The dates for that program are April 25th through 29th. That's Monday through Friday, the last full week of April. As I said, we have morning sessions from 11 to 12 every day. We have afternoon sessions from 3 to 4 every day, Eastern Standard Time. Registration, by the way, this probably should have been like in a neon sign at the very beginning. Registration for this is completely free. Whether you're an AMA member or not, registration is completely free to sign up and participate in this program. As I mentioned earlier, however, we are offering flight packs. We're partnering with Pittsco Education to make sure that those materials are of the highest quality. But the flight pack is going to contain all the materials that you need to follow along with those morning sessions and build exactly what you're seeing on the screen with the highest quality materials available. So those flight packs are going to be available in the ballpark of around $80, but there is going to be a 20% discount if you are an AMA member or if the student participating is an AMA youth member. So those AMA youth memberships are $15 for a year. So 20% discount, that actually works out that you're saving $1 and you're getting your flight pack and you have access to all the benefits that an AMA youth membership gives to your students. So I would absolutely take that deal if it were offered to me. But all of those details can be found at that URL that you can see on the screen there. And of course, you can reach out to the education team at education@modelaircraft.org if you have any other questions, concerns, or if there's anything that we can help clear up.
Very cool. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for coming on the show today, taking some time out to tell us a little bit about AMA Junior Camp. It really is a phenomenal program. You guys are doing a great job with it. And I am personally looking forward to some of these guest speakers this year because it's going to be some good stuff for folks. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thanks for giving me the chance to talk about it. We're getting really excited about it too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kyle. Again, if you want to learn more about AMA Junior Camp, you can head over to amaflightschool.org/AMA-junior-camp. There's the link down there at the bottom of your screen.
I think you and I are going to take that day off when Matt Keenan's on, get our popcorn, sit there and watch that. That's going to be great.
One way or another, I'm going to be tuning into that for sure. Well, Lee, we've got some events coming up even sooner than that. So why don't you kick us off and tell us about one of them?
Well, one of them is called RCX. It's the Radio Controlled Expo. It's going to be held in Pomona, California. And we've both been to this park, and it's great. We had the AMA Expo out there, and this is a great event where you're having 3 events in one. So they're tying the California Power Sports Expo, the RCX Expo, and the Outdoor Adventure Expo all in one. And your ticket will get you into all 3 of those. And so that will take place at March 26th and 27th. And as an AMA member, you have a coupon code available to save $2 off your ticket. So you can use the coupon code AMA22 in checkout when you register, and you will get $2 off. And again, that ticket gets you into all the events that are taking place out there.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome show. We're going to have a small presence out there as well. Our AMA's own Mark Benson is going to be on location talking with folks, so it's going to be a good time there. One of our good friends, Chris Wolf, the RC Geek, he's going to be out there too, I believe.
Yeah, I met him for the first time at the AMA Expo, so it's nice that he's going to be out there and demonstrating some of his skills, how he builds scale models. Incredible builder, the RC Geek. Really looking forward to it. You guys should make an effort to go out there if you're in that area to go see his stuff. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, when he was at AMA Expo, he had a little kind of I don't want to call it a booth. It was almost just kind of out in the open, and people could come from all sides. And I mean, people were there all day, every day because he was just such a wealth of knowledge.
I felt like a fanboy because when he gave his demonstration, the three of us, me, Terry, and me, Terry, and Fizz, we sat in our little chairs right on the front row just to listen to him on his painting techniques. It's really wonderful to have him see that. So, and by the way, we'll also have AMA volunteers out there to support the outdoor flying. So that's still being worked on, but we're going to hopefully have some flying out there in the little like football arena field that's out there. And there's a lot of car events going on out there because, gosh, when we were there, they had dirt tracks and drag races and stuff. So I expect there will also be some indoor flying too. Is that correct?
I believe so. I believe that is the case. Something I also wanted to remind you or let you guys know about something that we haven't announced yet, but we're speaking of Chris Wolf. We're actually have been in talks with Chris. He is going to be hosting a future episode of AMA Air. He's going to take our place for an episode. We're still working on the win on that, but that'll be coming up very soon. I'm sure you guys will get a kick out of him doing that. So be sure to stay tuned for more information regarding that. But in the meantime, if you're interested in more information on the RCX show, head over to rcx.com and again use that code AMA22 to get that discount on your ticket. I'm a little jealous. I kind of wish I was going out to California for that. I had a blast out there at the Fairplex when we were out there for AMA Expo. So I'm a little jealous. Gonna miss it a little bit.
We need to tell Mark to bring us back some goodies.
I mean, can he bring me back some In-N-Out? That's what I really want to happen, but I don't know how good it'll be by the time he gets it back. It's another event coming up very, very soon, and is the Dayton ModelRama. That is April 29th and 30th at the Montgomery County Fairgrounds in Dayton, Ohio. We're talking 42,000 square feet of space for exhibitors, door prizes, raffles, you name it. It's going to be a great time. Again, this is the Dayton ModelRama. You can go to DaytonModelRama.com for all the information there. But if you're in the Southern Ohio Valley area, you're not going to miss out on this event. This is a good one every year. So there you go. Lee, you're going.
I was going to say, if you're not near Ohio, let me tell you where I'm going in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, please tell us because you got a good one too.
It's like a close competitor, right? We're heading out. Let's say my friend Fitz Walker and I, we're heading out to the Perry Swap Meet. It's a very famous name, but it's by the Georgia Aircraft Modelers Association, and the event's called the Southeastern Model Show. And it's a mystery to me because I've never been, and neither has Fitz, but we have both seen the wonders through people's photos that they've shared online, or when I've gone to my club and some good friends of mine come back with the most bizarre aircraft, whether they were built bizarrely or there's something brand new, or it's some incredible deals they've made. They like pulled up this gas engine, it's like a 55cc engine. They go, I got this for $10. It's like, oh my gosh. So I can't tell you everything about it except that this is what I've been told, like how to prepare for this. And they said, bring a lot of cash, bring your own snacks because the lines are long, he said, and get there early. So that's the only advice I really got is that, money and bring snacks. So
right.
It's supposed to be amazing. 3 large rooms or arenas at the Georgia National Fairgrounds in Perry, Georgia. And 1,000 tables, Matt. That's the number I was given, 1,000 tables. And the last time I was looking at the reservations, only a handful left. So that's happening March 4th and 5th. You can get more information looking at the link below, the gamarc.com/SMS show. I hope you guys can make it. Look for us there. Also joining us is Tony Stillman, who's our safety coordinator here with the AMA. So that I'm looking forward to making a lot of videos and photos and sharing them with all of you, especially those who haven't been.
So I gotta ask Lee. So you and Fitz are taking off from Houston. You're driving all the way to Perry. How long a drive are we talking about?
It's a little long, 12 to 13 hours, maybe.
That's not that long. So, I mean, you guys are going to set up a camera inside that car, like stick a GoPro to the dash, right? Because I can only imagine the conversations you guys are going to have in that 12 hours.
I mean, the time lapse would be hilarious, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Almost
We've actually
beards grow.
we've talked about it. In fact, I got to tell you, there's something funny about road trips and going to swap meets. We did the RC Roundtable. We came up with the RC Roundtable podcast by going to a swap meet. I think we mentioned this to you when we were at the AMA Expo on the stage there. And so this is kind of that same premise. Fitz and I get together, we just start talking, we'll come up with amazing things. So we might record a podcast in that drive. So it may start off very friendly and may be very angry at the end. We'll see how it goes.
Hey, well, I since you brought it up, I want to plug the fact that you and Fitz were both on the AMA podcast. We recorded it live at AMA Expo, and you guys told that story. You guys could check that out at modelaircraft.org/podcast. It was one of the very early on, one of the first handful of episodes. You guys can go back and check that out. But before we continue, I did want to bring up real quick, because we had somebody pop in the chat, Mr. Mark Radcliffe from District 3. He says AMA District 3 will be at the Dayton ModelRama, so be sure to stop by and say hello if you're at that show.
Very good.
So speaking of the podcast, I wanted to let you guys know that, we mentioned on the last episode, we have started up our brand new season of the AMA podcast, and we had a brand new episode drop just yesterday. And I think you guys are going to be really interested in the topic that we talked about. And to do that, we've got this little clip for you, but we'll be right back right after this. At any given RC event, if there's a singular thing that is guaranteed to make every attendee stop what they're doing just to watch what's in the air, it's when they hear the unmistakable whoosh of a turbine engine firing up. Whether it's a sport jet, a military jet, scale or not, you know you're in for a treat when a turbine model rolls out onto that flight line. Well, if you've ever wanted to know what goes into obtaining a turbine waiver through the AMA, head over to modelaircraft.org/podcast and listen to our latest episode. Episode 87 covers the ins and outs of qualifying for a turbine waiver with AMA Technical and Safety Director Tony Stillman. That's modelaircraft.org/podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Said, are you ready? Are you ready for IFlyAMA?
Turbine waivers.
Are you, in fact, ready for IFlyAMA, this segment that everybody's here to enjoy? We hope you are. But the question is, have you joined the IFlyAMA Facebook group yet? Well, if not, what are you waiting for? Head over to facebook.com/groups/IFlyAMA. Click that join button, answer a couple of questions just to make sure you're not a robot. We want to make sure you're a human being. And that's the only reason we ask the questions. And then you can come on in and enjoy the conversations, the content, and the tips and the tricks that go along with that community. And we're going to tell you guys about a couple of stories that we found on the IFlyAMA Facebook group this past week that we thought you might be interested in, and give you a little taste of what you can find there. Lee, let's have you kick it off and let us know what you found.
Well, I mentioned to you guys in our little team partnership that there were just tons of great IFlyAMA articles, and it was really hard to pick, guys. So for those of you who just heard that, and maybe you're not a member, please join, answer the questions. There's really good content. But what I picked this time around is from the Palm Beach Radio Control Association, and it's the epitome of our hobby, guys, Intro to Flight. And so they scheduled this event for March 27th is what I think it has here. And they have done this, I think they said 2 times before, where they bring kids out there. They have flight simulators, they have trainers, and they just do what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be on a mission to make sure that we hand kids the tools they need to learn how to fly, to enjoy this hobby. And I really praise these clubs that do events like this, these introductory flights and so forth. But so this was the first post, and you just got to love those kids. These kids, well, they're probably saying, hey, crash into that tree. you could just push reset, because it's always fun to do stuff like that. But, they learn. And in fact, I want to say flight simulators are great tools, guys. My son was a big fan of real flight, and I think that made him really good when he soloed around 9 years old. So if you can get your hands on a flight simulator, great. If not, go to a club like this who might have one to help you share that. But I also had another link where this is so cool. Several club members built this huge plane for the kids to train on. And so if it's up, the links up there, but there's this, they got together and built an incredible large aircraft so the kids could fly on it. Look how much fun that is. I love this.
Wow.
Okay. And the kids are going to have fun, but those guys are having a great time, laughing it up, building these planes. What else can we do to this plane? So again, thank you guys for submitting articles to IFlyAMA. And I really want to thank all of those who are doing stuff like this, projects for the kids to get them and stay in the hobby.
That is fantastic. I love just all the people there just hanging around and getting that airplane built and getting those kids involved. That's fantastic. I love it. Wonderful submission there, guys. A great group of folks who put a lot of stuff into the IFlyAMA Facebook group. If you guys have been around for any length of time, you've surely seen content from Palm Beach. So we appreciate them.
Club of the month.
Our club of the month, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to share this. This is a little bit different. A lot of times I like to share stuff that's got lots of cool photos and, video, a lot of cool visuals. But one of the things we don't talk as much about is the conversations that happen and the, getting a bunch of people into one place to start throwing out ideas to help each other. And this post was posted back on February 10th by Pete Foss. He says, like many clubs, the Skymasters RC of Michigan is struggling with attracting new and younger pilots into the hobby. With the loss of the closest hobby shop to our field, this will undoubtedly be even more of a problem. And he said, I'm interested in what kinds of outreach and other AMA clubs have found successful in attracting new blood. And I think this is a conversation that we all talk about, like that we should have, but I don't know that we have it enough. And this post has gotten so much engagement. There's so many amazing tips in there. Reaching out to your local scout groups was one that I saw. Setting up a flight simulator at your local library, which I thought was really, really insightful. Invest in club trainer planes, kind of like what Palm Beach was doing. There's just so much there for you guys to see. Well over 100 posts on that, or 100 comments on that post. So if you guys are in the IFlyAMA Facebook group, or if you're not, you need to join and take a look at that, especially if you're at a club that is struggling similarly like the Skymasters are up in Michigan and trying to find and attract new and younger pilots. That's something that I think many clubs are facing based on the conversations that we've had. And there's a lot of great tips on this post. So I want to thank Pete for kind of going out there and putting himself out there and making that post and starting that conversation, because it's an important one to have.
I'm glad you shared that, Matt, because you're right. That segued from mine, but let's segue a little bit further and review that. Earlier we talked about flight school and how this is something you can share with your students, your kids, that they can be part of Camp AMA or junior camp. But also, if you have older kids who want to go to Camp AMA, you can sponsor them. Your club could sponsor kids to go to Camp AMA. There's so much you can do. So if you're not a member of the IFlyAMA group, please join, add your comments, add your suggestions. And I need to go back in there and we need to add flight school as well to make sure that other people will share that link and be part of that process. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things in there that some of the clubs were talking about is, applying for tag grants and being able to use that money to help invest into their club and invest into trainer planes and simulators and things like that. There are resources out there for clubs that they just may not be as familiar with and may not realize are there. So there's, again, so much great information in that post. I want to encourage you guys to go on there and check that post out to get some of those great ideas, because hey, you don't know until you find out. Well, let's see, there's something else that we want to talk about real quick, which is our Snapshots, our program that we're running this year. Why don't you tell us about our snapshot we've got this week, Lee?
Well, we hope you guys are aware of this. I'm sure you've seen them on our social media pages, but we have a great little way of sharing your story with all our members, and it's called AMA Snapshot. We have it for members, clubs, and events. And where you can help out is adding your member story. So one fun one we had recently, which is something we hadn't done before, is a family snapshot. So this is Gil Wise, and he just sent his photos and his information, but I called him back and I said, you know what? I'd like to put a spin on this. Can we call it Gil Wise and Sons? So, and he was like all in for that, because look at the smiles, guys. That's me and my kids right there. That's how I feel when I'm with my kids at the flying site. But look at those early photos with the kids. So this really, meant something to me, because I'm so glad I get to share that hobby with my kids. If you have a story like this, if you have multiple kids, and quite frankly, we need more females into this hobby, and we know that they're out there. We know that there are girls enjoying this hobby just as much as the kids. We just don't have those stories in our hands. So please go to modelaircraft.org/snapshots and submit your stories. Share them with us. We'd love to share them with everybody on our social media pages.
Absolutely. Share your club story, your membership story. If your club puts on an event, we take those stories as well. You can learn all about that at that URL, modelaircraft.org/snapshots. It's such a cool I love seeing all these kind of stories coming in from different people, because we always talk about, a lot of the stories are the same, but they're all unique in their own way. And I love seeing those and reading those stories and hearing people's experiences. It's so fun to me.
Well, and we have a snapshot for Hoot Gibson, who's an astronaut.
Yeah.
you gotta top that now. So
I don't. How do you top that?
I don't know.
Let's do it.
Maybe someone out there says, "I got something for you." So let's find out.
Mark Radcliffe, he chimed in again. He said, Gil Weiss is a member of the Northeast Philadelphia Flyers in AMA District 3. So District 3 representing again today. Appreciate that comment, Mark. If you guys have ideas in the comments that people you want to see featured in an AMA snapshot, I would encourage you to post that in there. That's that would be a good idea.
Mark has me thinking, do I need to make this like a little competition now? Do we have district map and then figure out how many, from each district? Because I could tell you, I could go ahead and just throw everybody under the bus and find everybody I know in District 8. So
I think I feel like you might have a little bit of an advantage there. I don't know.
Yeah, they need more District 8. But no, let's do that. Let's have a friendly competition. Let's submit some other districts. Maybe for every 2 8s, it's one, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
But yes, please submit them, guys.
Well, guys, something else we wanted to remind you about is our our IFlyAMA cover photo contest for the month of March. That's coming up. We're going to be announcing the winner on March the 1st. You can go to facebook.com/group/IFlyAMA and submit your photo to be the cover photo of the month for the month of March. There's a post pinned to the top, and I love seeing the amazing photography you guys have that you submit every month. So get your photos submitted quickly so they can start gathering up all the likes and heart emojis and gasping emojis and whatever emojis that you want to put on there, I suppose. But again, that's up at the top of the IFlyAMA Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/IFlyAMA. Go join today.
Hey, do you hear that knocking? Yeah. Jay's going, hey, could y'all hurry up? Because I've been waiting here a long time in the green room.
And I'd really like to come in.
So,
I totally forgot we had another guest. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, hey Jay, okay, we're done flapping our lips. Jay, come on in. Come talk to us. We know you want to share stuff with us.
Well, I think it's hey, how you both doing? I think it's great you're talking about covers, because I want to share the cover of the March issue of Model Aviation that people can get today if they get the magazine digitally. And obviously in print, it's about 10 days to 14 days later. But the March issue, you'll get a notification today. And what's kind of special about this issue is normally when we pick the cover photo, typically it comes from one of the features. And this time we actually selected a photo that came from Focal Point, which is, photos and a story sent in by our members sharing their projects and whatnot. And so we picked this one from Focal Point. It was taken by Terry Dunn, and the airplane belongs to Keith Sparks. And Lee, you share with me that you were there when this photo was taken. So please give us a little backstory on the photo.
I was there. This plane, it's called the Spook, and it is so cool. Keith Sparks, scratch build, LED lights. I don't remember how many, so I apologize, Sparky, if you're listening, but LED lights inside that plane, and we met him up at an event I go to every year called the Best Electrics in South Texas in New Waverly for Tri-County Barnstormers. And Keith and I, we show up early, like on Thursday, we camp side by side. And so I think this may have been the first night we were just hanging out in the middle of the night, and he turned that sucker on and the whole field lit up. It is, but gosh, it is a masterpiece. It flies like it weighs out like a feather. And I got to tell you, you can't see it in this photo, but I got to just share one of the most amazing things he did is he actually built a mechanical beacon on the bottom, actual rotating beacon. It wasn't LED. I mean, it's this little thing. It's just those little finishing touches that just make it so special. And so kudos to Sparky for that incredible plane.
Well, and I want to mention to people that they can, submit to us their pictures of their model aircraft and the stories behind them to be featured in the magazine. And that's exactly what happened here. So definitely be sure, if you've got a project you want to share with the readership, to either email it to me or you can email it to Jenny, and we'd be happy to share that information, with the members.
So what kind of features should we expect in this issue, Jay?
Well, we've got a great article about LiPo batteries from David Buxton, and he talks about basically getting more cycles out of your batteries and, some suggestions on charging them and storing them and whatnot so that they'll last longer. And I think everybody would appreciate, their LiPo batteries lasting as long as possible. So he's got some test data and some really good information. We've got a nice review on a P-47 by Fitz, and I believe that I know we have a video for it, and I think we're probably going to show a clip of that. That's a great review for a fun scale P-47. And there's another club story. We're really promoting clubs this year and trying to share ideas and thoughts around helping clubs with events or building the membership of clubs. So there's a club story. I mean, like every month, there's a lot of great stories in there as far as features. And then obviously we have a ton of columns. I don't know if everyone realizes this, but we have 29 columnists that write for Model Aviation. Now, they don't all appear every month, but there's so many different special interests that it takes 29 columnists to cover it all.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an amazing amount of work that goes into putting this magazine together every month, for sure. You guys are seeing this video from the P-47 review from Fitz Walker. I love the onboard shots. I love the stuff that they do. Fitz does specifically, and Terry does. It's puts a whole new spin on some of these video reviews. I really appreciate all the hard work that they put into those. And you guys can check those out in the March Model Aviation issue. The digital edition is out today, and the print issue will be in mailboxes in a couple of weeks. Am I right?
Yep.
Very cool. And you can go to modelaviation.com/digital if you want to look into becoming a digital subscriber. Jay, there's something else we should talk about while you're here. We have your next episode of Model Aviation Live with Jay Smith coming up this Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Why don't you tell us what we can expect on that episode?
Well, we're actually going to give a sneak peek before it appears in the magazine. David Hart covered the Blue Max event. I actually went to the event the first year they had it several years ago. It was at Fantasy of Flight. Unfortunately, it was a very windy weekend and there was very little flying, but it's continued every year. And so David Hart covered it for us. The event was the end of January down in Florida. And so we're going to give a sneak peek on Friday, show some of his photos. He's going to tell us a bit about the event, and he'll also be covering Top Gun for us. So that's not happened yet, obviously, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So excited to have David on the show because he's covered events for us for several years. And so we're going to just give everyone a sneak peek of what to expect, and then you'll see in a future issue of Model Aviation his entire article and photos about the event.
Very cool. That's over at modelaviation.com/live. Again, this Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Tune in live so you can ask your questions in the live chat. But you can also watch after the fact if you are not available at 3 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, Lee, you're absolutely right. He's an amazing photographer. The guy does an amazing job at covering events. So this should be a good conversation. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, and if for those that don't know, the Blue Max event is a World War I event, early aviation and World War I. So we'll definitely have a lot of neat photos to share. And there's even a photo of Snoopy flying on his doghouse.
Cool.
As there should be. Well, Jay, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to come talk to us about model aviation, specifically the March issue. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Friday on Model Aviation Live.
I'm going to pull it up on my phone right now.
Thank you both. It's always a pleasure to be on the show.
Absolutely. Take care, Jay. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, just remind everybody, there's a Model Aviation app you can download and pull it up right away. So I can go look at these photos. You go ahead, man. I'm just going to enjoy the next issue.
Hey,
I haven't seen it yet.
That's a good point. You can get that app on the iOS App Store and the Google Play Store, I believe. So be sure, if you haven't done that, to go do that if you're a digital subscriber. Yeah, one of the things we wanted to tell you about as well today is there's a World Championships coming to the International Air Modeling Center later this summer. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about it. The Academy of Model Aeronautics, in conjunction with the National Miniature Pylon Racing Association, is pleased to host the 32nd FAI World Championships, July 8th through the 14th at the International Air Modeling Center in Muncie, Indiana. The best in the world will compete in this prestigious event, and you can keep up with all the latest updates on this event as it rolls closer at modelaircraft.org/FAI. And you can also go to, was it FAI dot, help me out, Lee. I forgot, FAI.org. I almost messed it up. That's why
I just, I've always heard of FAI, but until you look at their website, FAI.org, and you read it with all the accents and so forth, it's Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. It sounds better that way, doesn't it?
Your French is bon appetit.
International. I should get my let me get my hat on. All right, how about this? Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. Better? Oui. Was that good?
Wow, that was fantastic. I thought it was great.
Support the FAI.
And hey, guys, speaking of the International Air Modeling Center, we wanted to let you guys know that this year is a very special year here in Muncie at the International Air Modeling Center. This is our 30th anniversary of the existence of the International Air Modeling Center. And to help celebrate that, we're doing some things a little special this year. You're going to be seeing a special logo that's going to be attached to anything that's related to the International Air Modeling Center. And if you go to modelaircraft.org/IAC, you can find some more information out there. There's also a full calendar listing of events that is going on throughout the year of 2022. We are chock full of events here at the IAC this year.
Can I add something, Matt? Will you tell us?
Of course you can.
Something that's coming up in a couple of years that's passing right over IAC.
So you guys may remember, we're going a little off topic, but I'm okay with it.
I know, but hey, I'm doing it. just roll with it, buddy, because this is a good story.
You guys may recall a few years ago, there was the Great North American Eclipse back in 2017, which was the first total solar eclipse to have a path through essentially the lower 48. Since it was sometime in the 70s. I want to say like 1978 or so. So it was the first one since then. So they're very rare to come through here. Well, in just a couple of years, in 2024, there will be another one, and the path of totality will actually cross right over the top of the International Air Modeling Center. So you guys are getting a little sneak preview. We're working on some things on the back end to have maybe some sort of an event there. We're a couple of years out, so there's nothing really to report. But it's something to maybe mark on your calendars.
I'm building the excitement.
It's April 8th to 2024. Put it on your calendars. There may be something cool happens. You just you have to watch out.
Stay tuned to this AMA Air and AMA podcast. I'm sure we will be talking about it soon.
Even if it's me standing by myself in the middle of the 1,100 acres we have here with a camera pointed up, taking pictures of the sun.
Are you going to reserve Skype just for yourself? Just say, this is mine.
I'm going to reserve the roof of the building. Are you kidding me?
That should be cool. Oh, look at this. Our producer is amazing. Look at that.
Looky there. Yeah. This is all impromptu, ladies and gentlemen. We weren't going to talk about this today, but I think this is pretty fun.
I think Matt's sorry that I've joined the co-host team, but man, I love it when we go off topic and talk about really cool things. But the idea, Dylan is figuring out. But the fact that it does go over IAC is such a really neat feature, and it's I want to know. I'm going to carry over the celebration 2 more years.
I'm into it. If you guys have ideas for what you might like to see as an event at the IAC, man, send me an email or drop it in the comments. I'm open to hearing some suggestions. We're in the early planning stages right now.
I feel like this is like CSI, enhance, and he just keeps over. But Muncie's right there. It's right there in the middle. Anyway, good job, Dylan, and thank you, Matt, for sharing that. I mean, or going along with me because.
I think it's a great thing to talk about, and that's we're talking about it internally right now, and it's never too early, in my opinion, for stuff like that. And you guys, we've talked on this show. We're space nerds, so whenever something space related happens, we're going to be talking about it. And even if it's 2 years away, we're going to be talking about it. And I'm not sorry. But hey, if you guys are interested in the stuff going on at the IAC this year, modelaircraft.org/IAC, where you guys can get a calendar of events happening this year. It's in PDF form. You can print it out. I think it's a good thing to have on hand if you're going to be in the area.
Yeah, and we are so busy this summer at the IAC. I mean, it's a packed calendar for IAC. So hopefully you get a chance to come by. If you've never been, plan a visit. It's worth the trip, guys. Being from Texas, never been up there. My trip last year was amazing. Can't wait to see you guys again for Camp AMA because I know my kids are dying to go again. So we'll make another trek up to IC and experience it all over again.
Yes, I'm excited for it. Again, there's just so much going on this year, and we're going to have a blast here at the IAC. Well, Lee, that wraps it up for this episode of AMA Air. I appreciate you being here and helping me out. And I hope you guys had a great time watching as well. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it if you hit the little like button, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. There's all that stuff that you're supposed to do, and I don't know what they all are, but if you do it, it helps us out apparently, so we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, go to modelaircraft.org to learn more about the AMA. And if you aren't a member, you want to be a member, modelaircraft.org/join.
We'd love it if you come hang out with us. We have a great time. It's a lot of fun. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching today. We really appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of AMA Air. See you later.
See you later.